Hi guys, it's Liliana the Magnificent and welcome back to my city, Dukes of Honey. In this video, I'm going to go over making a profit within your hood via sniping. So a little note first, be really cautious about sniping, especially within guilds. So within our guild, we have a guild policy that you cannot snipe your guild mates. This is specifically because we want to protect GB owners, we want to protect those individuals that might be in a private leveling thread, have a private partner swap going on, or want to use the 1.85, 1.9 leveling threads. So be really cautious. The guild is your family, so really don't snipe them. Allow them, support them to make the most forge points and BPs and medals that they can. That's your goal. Also, be really cautious about sniping your friend list. So, for me, I will go through my friend list and see if there's any spots. But as a kind of morale meter, I always go in at either 1.8 or above on anything that I take. They are my friends, they do aid me, they visit my tavern, so I don't feel it's necessarily fair to take full advantage of them. Hood is a completely different story. This is where I will go in, and my goal is to make a forge point profit. That's pretty much where I sit. If there is a large great building that has a spot open, I'll be really conscientious about what others have taken on that great building. So if I notice that everybody is taking a 1.9, well, I don't really want to be the jerk in the hood, so I'll go in at 1.9 or I'll just leave it alone. Now, if I see that somebody's taking at 1.8 or 1.85, absolutely, I'll go in and drop for that as well. But just be kind of mindful. So just to make this kind of speedy, I did go through my hood list already, and I already completed the snipes, and now we're just going to go over how to do it and who I've taken and some examples. So I always suggest starting at the back of your hood versus the front. At the end, these are most of the time players that are purely self-donating to themselves. Maybe they're in a guild and they're not using standard swaps, or maybe they're just not even in a guild at all. So this is where you're going to find the most profit, is starting from the back and then going forward. So the first one that I've got is this one right here, number 72. We pop in, and when I first hopped onto this great building, you'll see that actually nobody was on it. They were purely self-donating to themselves. When I came in, it was at 270. So what you did is I went 420 minus 270, and the total left to level was 150. Then you divide that in half. And the reason why you divide that in half is that creates a safe lock, at least in the instance where there's nobody else on the great building. So half of 150 was 75. Then we go over at my rewards, and you can see that the base reward is 45. With my arc bonus of 1.91, I stand at 86 forge points that I could drop as a full 1.9. However, I only have to drop 75, so I am making an 11 forge point return. So that's an example. Next one. All right, so on number 65, it was kind of the same story. There was nobody on here. They were purely self-donating. So once again, they were at 190. So 290 minus 190 is 100. Divide that by 2, we're sitting at 50. That's a safe lock. Nobody would be able to pass me. So we look at my contribution reward. I could make up to 57, so I'm making 7 forge points on this return. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about did have somebody on it. So you'll see that I am sitting at second right now. So when I came in, it was at 178. So 210 minus 178 was 32 forge points left in this great building to level. Divide that by 2, and it's 16 is considered that, if nobody were on it, a safe lock. However, we had 2 people down here that each have 1 forge point. So I had to go 16 plus 1 makes it 17. So now if they were to add in the remaining, they could not jump me. Now, if I would have only put in 16 in, they could have put in 16 and their extra one here would have bumped them above me and they would have taken the spot. So be mindful about that when you start seeing others. So you'll see I put in 17, but I stand at 29, so I stand to make a profit there as well. All right, and the next one, you'll see kind of another example of having to accommodate others that are on the great building. So when I first came in here, this individual here was actually in first with 20 forge points. So what I did is I had 290 minus 216. There was 37, is that half. However, because there was somebody, I have to half their number as well. So 10. So 37 plus 10 is 47. This is what keeps me safe from this person overtaking me. So we look at the reward at 57. I dropped 47. I stand to make 10 forge points. On we go. All right, so on this individual, I came in at 330 minus 305. There was 25 forge points left in this level. Divide that by 2 is 12.5. However, this individual here had 14 in. So once again, half their number is 7. 7 plus the 12.5 is 19.5, but always round up. So rounded up, I dropped 20. I have 38 that I could go up to, so I'm standing to make 18 forge points off of this. The next one is right here. This one had somebody sitting at 25, so it was 420 minus 318 is 102. Divide that by 2 is 51, and then add in the 12.5, that's their half. So once again, round up, I'm at 64 here with a possible 86. So making a profit there of 22. Next one, we're going to pop over to a 37. I hope this is starting to help and starting to make sense with the repetition. So once again, this person had been self-donating. The only one was this 3 here, so we need to accommodate them. So 150 minus there was 137 on was 13 forge points. Divide that by 2, but then we have to add in 1.5 for this 3 here, and safely in at 7 forge points then to keep me safe. If they had to add the last 3, they'd be at 6, so they wouldn't be able to overtake me. So here's an example. This was done earlier in the week, and I'm just kind of letting him be. He's been slowly working on it. So I sniped this earlier in the week, and at 150, I stand at about 172 is my total. You can see I could level it right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to let him level it on his own. Now, let's say there was a hood change and this still hasn't been leveled, and now we're sitting at like 3 or 4 weeks, then I will go in and I will level this on them. Normally, I do not level somebody's great buildings just because of the double collection that could happen. So I don't want to be that person, but if it's sitting for a very long time, I will go in and I will do that. But for now, we're just going to let him be. I don't have the totals of what that was. That was earlier in the week that I did that one. So as you can see, we're already almost through. There was quite a few people that I couldn't get anything on, and that's absolutely all right. So this person, when I came in, 490 minus 418 is 36. There was just this person here, so 36 plus 1.5, round up, I'm sitting at 38. 38 out of 48, I'm making 10 forge points here. I'm waiting till I see an example of another one that I can kind of show you guys a little bit bigger. But here there was nobody. So here's that example. Again, I don't have to accommodate or add anything once I reach half. So it was 290 minus 261 was, we were sitting at 290, 261. Oh my goodness, I didn't math that correctly, or did I? No, I did. Okay. Sorry, guys. I had a quick little thought process on here. But sitting at, if somebody were to come in, they would have to put in that 14 forge points. So you still want to make sure you're above. So because it was 29 left, at the 29 divided by 2, you're sitting at 14.5. So you always, like I said, round up. So that sits me at 15, so nobody can take that spot. Next one, right here. Okay, so you can even take spots that are lower. Sometimes people kind of let these ones go. I'm after medals, even though it's small. It's still any medals that I can get, and there still is a 2 forge point profit for me. But 490 minus 475 was 15. Divide that by 2. I do have to accommodate that 1 forge points in the bottom, so I did point half. That sits me at 8. So I am making a small profit, but still a profit. We are almost done, you guys. I only have 5 left. Okay, let's pop down to 26. I know there's one that I absolutely wanted to have you guys see. This is the same exact example as the other one, so I'm not even going to describe just because I am at 8. This person was at 4, so not even going to go into that, but you can still kind of see that same. Now, this one I want to talk about. So this is one where I do a little bit of seeking on. So because this great building here is bigger, we're at 38. This person could be priming it for a 1.8, 1.85, 1.9. So I was conscientious in what I did. So I came in, this person was sitting at 158, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Well, let me show you what some of this person's last levels were, which is pretty interesting. These are all above locks, so he must be in some sort of group, but my goodness, they must be like swapping above or something. So I'm still going to go in because it's my hood and not a friend. But because I'm seeing what had been going on, I went near 1.9. So 1.9 at this base reward is actually 665, and I just went in a smidge below that at 660 just because I don't want to give a full 1.9 to somebody who's not my friend, but I also don't want to be a huge jerk. So I did go in. I could have gone in and I think at 558 if I remember, but I didn't want to be that person that after seeing just the past levels. There are absolutely people that do. I'm just not one of them. Okay, we're almost done. 3 left, you guys. Okay, so this one is an arc. So this is a great example. So this person just hit the sweet spot. The sweet spot of an arc is at 28. So you can actually kind of see my rule of thumb for these with any arcs, just because they are expensive and this person is in a hood and not in my friends list, I go in at half of half. So half of 1670 is 835. So half of 835 is this 418 number. So that's what I did. You can see that this person, because they were self-donating, absolutely went in below that 815. So they're standing to make a much bigger profit than I'm just not like that. So I just went in at half of half in my hood. Now, if it was a friend, I would go in at just because it's the first starting levels, I like helping. So I would go in at 1.9 for them, but I didn't. So that's an example there. 2 left and we're done. Number 10. Oops, past you, number 10. Okay, so this one is just a small one, but still kind of that same example. I had noticed, oh, this person is near leveling, and I could just make a quick little profit, but look, I put in 4 forge points, but I'm gonna make about 15, which is pretty darn nice. And I did kind of get conscientious to see if they were in a leveling thread of some sort, but I noticed that this person put in way less than 190, so I knew for an instance they were not. They were just self-donating, so I went in at that 4. But that was 965 minus 958, and then divide by 2, so that came in at that. And here's your last one, and we're done. I did this one earlier in the week as well. They've been slowly working on it, but here's another example of an arc. Now, granted, this person is not my friend, but I do have the forge points in my inventory, so it doesn't harm me if I know they're working on it. But I know, being from experience, that the level 70s are hard to get people to take because they are so expensive. So when I first popped in, this person was self-donating quite a bit, and I could have absolutely made a huge, huge, huge profit, but I didn't want to. So I went in and I did a 1.9 for them. Granted, like I said, they're not my friend, but I don't want to be that person, and I know that it's hard work. So I don't mind it sitting there. It's gonna be a while. They've been working on it though. So yeah, that's sniping within your hood, looking for a profit. I hope that was helpful with all of the examples that I did. If you guys actually want to see it go in action, I can, but I didn't want this to get too long. All right, bye guys.